Welcome to Yaka Digital Network. On this map of 1850s Europe, neither Italy nor Germany exist. They were merely geographic expressions, a fractured puzzle of independent states. The Austrian Empire dominated this landscape, using its military presence to actively suppress nationalist movements across both regions. This regional fragmentation mirrors pre-colonial Uganda, where independent kingdoms and decentralized societies operated with local sovereignty before being drawn into a single modern nation. European nationalists first attempted to force unification from the bottom up during the popular revolutions of 1848. However, these idealistic uprisings violently collapsed when they faced the professional, organized militaries of the established empires. The failures of 1848 fundamentally shifted the strategy of the era. Unification would require a calculated, state-driven approach to power that prioritized results over revolutionary ideals. This philosophy is known as realpolitik, the pursuit of state interests through power, military strength, and pragmatic calculation, rather than moral goals. In Italy, the architect was Count Camillo di Cavour. As prime minister, he utilized modernization and elite diplomacy to actively challenge Austrian rule. In Germany, Chancellor Otto von Bismarck led the process. He famously dismissed parliamentary debate, bypassing the constitution entirely to fund a massive Prussian army expansion. Bismarck declared that the great questions of the day would be solved by blood and iron, the aggressive combination of military might and industrial power, rather than speeches and majority votes. Cavour and Bismarck ultimately recognized that unification would not come from the people. To consolidate their borders, they strategically engineered a series of controlled, state-driven wars. To compare these engines of unification, Cavour modernized Piedmont's economy, building extensive railways to sustain a modern war. Meanwhile, Prussia's massive industrial base dwarfed its neighbors. Its soaring coal and steel production provided the raw materials for a vastly superior military machine. This industrial capacity was weaponized by the Krupp Empire, producing advanced steel artillery that gave the Prussian army a decisive battlefield edge. These advancements prove that diplomatic maneuvering requires underlying industrial and economic strength to back up the threat of force. Cavour faced a specific geopolitical problem. Piedmont was too small to expel the Austrian military from Italy on its own. He needed an alliance with a major power. Cavour struck a secret deal with Emperor Napoleon III, agreeing to cede Nice and Savoy to France in exchange for French military assistance against Austria. After Cavour provoked Austria into war in 1859, the combined French and Piedmontese forces won victories at Magenta and Solferino. Although France signed a separate peace early, the conflict successfully liberated the province of Lombardy from Austrian rule. In the south, radical nationalist Giuseppe Garibaldi led a volunteer army of red shirts. His 1860 expedition of the Thousand rapidly overthrew the Bourbon monarchy. At Teano in 1860, the movements met. To prevent a civil war, Garibaldi handed his southern conquest to King Victor Emmanuel II of Piedmont Sardinia. Italian unification resulted from an opportunistic partnership between elite diplomacy in the north and radical revolutionary action in the south. Bismarck engineered unification through three specific conflicts. First, in 1864, he partnered with Austria in the Danish War to seize the border duchies of Schleswig and Holstein, deliberately creating a joint administration he could later exploit. In 1866, Bismarck used friction over those territories to trigger the Austro-Prussian War, trapping Austria into a conflict that would decide the leadership of the German states. During the 7 Weeks' War, Prussia utilized superior railways and modern needle guns to rapidly deploy and crush the traditional Austrian army at Sadowa. With Austria expelled from German affairs, Bismarck still needed to bring the independent Catholic southern German states into a union with Protestant Prussia. He provoked France into war by editing the Ems dispatch telegram to make it appear the Prussian king insulted the French ambassador. Fearing French aggression, southern German states rapidly aligned their militaries with Prussia, fulfilling Bismarck's goal of a unified bloc. The Prussian war machine proved its efficiency at the Battle of Sedan, where the French army was encircled and Emperor Napoleon III was captured. Bismarck achieved his goals by architecting scenarios where his enemies felt provoked into fighting on his terms. Although the borders on the map were now unified, the internal structures of both Italy and Germany remained deeply fractured. Italy struggled with the southern question, The North rapidly industrialized, while the agrarian South suffered under heavy taxes, sparking violent insurrections. Furthermore, the 1870 seizure of Rome alienated the papacy. The Pope forbade Catholics from voting, creating a decades-long church-state divide. Germany faced a different paradox. Bismarck instituted a modern parliament, the Reichstag, with universal male suffrage, yet he ensured the government and military remained solely accountable to the Kaiser. Bismarck also launched domestic campaigns to suppress dissent, including the Kulturkampf against the Catholic minority and a series of anti-socialist laws designed to cripple the rising labor movement. These new nations were held together not by a shared social identity, but by authoritarian control and the persistent threat of external conflict. On January 18, 1871, the German Empire was officially proclaimed in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles, deep within captured French territory. Following this victory, Germany annexed the mineral-rich provinces of Alsace and Lorraine, a move that left a lasting scar of humiliation on the French national psyche. This unification destroyed the balance of power established at the Congress of Vienna. The weak vacuum of Central Europe had been replaced by a militarized industrial superpower. Overnight, the geopolitical landscape shifted, as a unified Germany emerged as the dominant economic and military power on the continent. Bismarck spent the rest of his career trying to protect this new empire. He feared that French resentment over Alsace-Lorraine would lead to a two-front war against Germany. His solution was a complex web of secret alliances, such as the Triple Alliance with Austria and Italy, designed to keep France diplomatically isolated and secure Germany's borders. This system was fragile and dependent on Bismarck's personal statecraft. After his dismissal in 1890, these alliances unraveled, eventually hardening into the two rigid opposing blocs that would collide in 1914. The creation of these unified states set a continental arms race in motion, as neighboring powers struggled to keep pace with German and Italian military expansion. By unifying their nations through calculated force, Cavour and Bismarck constructed the rigid geopolitical machinery that defined the landscape of the First World War. You can watch more videos for all classes here and get all content at www.yaka.cc.